Before I start, I want to say thank you to Pastor Joe for allowing me to be up here this morning. It's a big deal to be here. I don't take it lightly. I don't take it as a joke. I like to have fun, but it's a serious moment, and so it's a serious deal. So I want to say thank you for that, and thank you for trusting me with that. So, hey, I was watching TV the other day with Cambry. Cambry's our little baby. Yes, she watches TV at 10 months old, and we were watching this cartoon, and in the cartoon was a family, and they're walking in the park. And the youngest kid, if you have kids, you know this, the youngest kid was too tired to keep walking. I can't go on. I'm too tired. Oh, look, there's a bird. Go chase it. Okay. And everything that was enticing and exciting, there was plenty of energy. And like they could do whatever was asked. But when the excitement wore off, all of a sudden they're too tired again. I'm too tired. I just can't walk anymore. Can you give me a piggyback ride? Well, look, there's a jump rope. There's a hopscotch. Okay. And they go do the hopscotch and the jump rope. I'm too tired again. And then the mom kind of stops and goes, hey, do you realize that everything that you want to do, you have plenty of energy for? But when the excitement is over, you're all of a sudden tired again. And I was watching and I was like, wow, isn't that a lot like us? We make time and effort for the things that excite us and are fun. But when the excitement and the fun wears off, it becomes an inconvenience, and we get too tired. So there are times that we're just like the cartoon, we get tired, and we allow, I think the trick is, or the word is, we allow life to get boring sometimes. And we allow ourselves to get tired until we see something new that excites me or entices me to go again and to have energy and to keep going. In Galatians 6:9, Paul writes to the Galatians, so let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith. Don't get tired. How many of you are like, I'm glad I came to church today to hear that. Don't get tired. Like, that's so easy. Thanks, Pastor Jason. I know, right? I'm the same way. I get tired. I get worn out a lot of times. It's hard to keep ourselves energized and focused and excited. But I think what Paul is saying in Galatians 6 is, don't let yourself get tired. Well, that's easier said than done. You're exactly right. It is. There's a study Bible that I was reading in preparation for today, and it said this about verse 9. Paul reminded believers that through the Spirit's work, to keep on walking in the Spirit is an ongoing process. To slow down or even stop is never in order for a Christian. This temptation was and is a common one. Paul in his other letters stressed this ongoing need. Paul added, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not, if we don't get tired. It is essential to remember that such a reaping is again an expression of God's grace. Don't get tired in doing what's right. Paul's warning us, be on guard. Why? Because when you do what's right all the time, it gets boring. If we're honest, reading the Bible and praying every day for some of us gets boring. Why? Because it's the same thing. We go into it with the attitude and mentality of, I'm going to read my Bible, I'm going to pray, we do it, and then we forget that it's God's living word, that there's life in the words that we're reading on this page, and we kind of go through the motion, we begin to check off a box. Well, I read today, and I prayed today. Listen, there are some in this room that I wish I was able to do it like you do. Like you do it every day, consistently, the same place, the same time, and it's exciting every day. I don't know what my issue is, but for me, I have to make changes sometimes. I have to make the time a little bit different. I have to make the place a little bit different just to keep myself not in a mundane, day after day process so that I don't check off the box, because I'm just like some of you guys, and I just check off boxes a lot. And then when I get done, I check off my box. God was like, hey, was that a good time to me? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I didn't speak to you because you didn't listen. You just checked off your box. Oh, but God, I read your word. He goes, that's good. But you heard Pastor's sermon last week. There will be people that serve, that preach, that were on staff. And just because they did those things doesn't mean they'll be in heaven. Just because you read doesn't mean you actually listened. I'm just as guilty. I'm not like, this isn't like I'm getting on. If I'm getting on anybody, it's myself, because I'm just as guilty. When things get boring, we quit. When things don't go my way, we quit. Well, I'm not getting what I want, so I'm going to quit. Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus say you're going to get everything you want. He says things are going to go the way I plan them out. You may not like it, you may not agree with it, but it's my will. I can't speak for you, but for me, I can speak for myself and say that I've asked God to do some things my way, and he rarely does. It's usually his way, and I have to follow his will. But I don't quit because he doesn't do it my way. I still trust him and have faith in him. Sometimes a change of scenery or a change of timing is all we need. Well, how does that help me not be tired? Because it makes the monotony of the same thing every day a little bit different. But how sad is it that we would call reading the Bible and spending time with Jesus monotonous? And not an exciting and enticing moment that I look forward to with every ounce that I am. Listen, I'm just as guilty because there are days I get up and I'm tired. And I'm like, okay, God, I got to read the Bible. That was good. I get it. I understand. But there's something that's got to give in me that it's not just a checkbox that I'm going to check off, but it's, God, today I need you more than ever before, more than yesterday, more than tomorrow. Today I need you more, and I need your word to speak to me. And not only do I need your word, God, I need you to speak to me today. I need to make time and spend time with you so I can hear your voice clearly. Can I tell you something? It's okay to be tired. It is. But it's not okay to stay there. It's not okay to stay there. Why? Because if you stay there, you're always tired and you never do anything. Well, is that bad? Yes. Yes, it's bad. Because not doing anything means you're not healthy. When reading and the Bible and praying and spending time with Jesus become a chore and boring, I've missed the point. When it's a chore to spend time with Jesus, do you understand why it's not a chore? He gave his life for you. He literally said, I will choose to lay my life down. I will choose to have my body ripped and torn apart and nailed to a cross so that you don't have to pay the penalty of your sin, and so that the blood that I shed will heal you of your infirmities, your sickness, your illness. My blood will heal you. My blood saves you. My life giving and ransom for yours is what saves you. And your faith in me is what creates a relationship where I can change your life. And that becomes a chore to honor and to serve someone that's given everything. Man, how sad is that for us? How sad is that for me? But we do. We get tired. Well, I just need to take a break. No, you don't. Well, I'm wore out. Okay, then you know what you just told me? Is that you're not spending the same time with Jesus as you were when you started. You're wore out because you're putting more time and effort into everything else except spending time with Jesus, what he said to do. Well, how can you say that? Because when I read the Bible, never once does Jesus say, well, guys, I've been working too hard. I'm going to take a break. I've been doing too many miracles. I need a break. I'm going to take a little siesta. Now, did Jesus take a nap? Yes, we'll get there in a minute. Did he stop and rest? Yes, because there's a natural thing about rest that allows us to replenish. But when we stop because it's about me and I'm tired, we miss the rest part. See, listen, there's a supernatural rest that happens when I keep doing what God's asked me to do, even though I'm tired and I'm wore out, because my rest isn't in my sleeping. We had this conversation last night. There's not always just rest in sleeping. Our body needs sleep. Yes, it does. But the rest that I get from sleeping is nothing in comparison to what the rest God gives me through the Holy Spirit when I continue to do what he asked me to do. Well, that doesn't make sense. It's supernatural. It doesn't make sense. But when my faith is in God and not in my sleep, there's a big difference. It doesn't mean I can cut my sleep short. It means I've still got to rest and do what I've got to do, but I've got to trust him for my strength and my energy. Did Jesus take a nap? Absolutely. We read in the New Testament where Jesus was in a boat. He took a nap in the middle of a storm. Well, so Jesus needed to take a nap. Yes, so do we sometimes, but you know what? His faith wasn't in that nap. His faith was in the one that created the storm and the one that could calm the storm. That's where his rest came from, not in the nap. Does it make sense? See, we get so focused sometimes on our physical strength and ability that we forget and neglect the supernatural ability that God gives us when we do what he asks us to do. In Exodus chapter 17, you read the story of the Israelites and Moses, and the army of Amalek came and attacked them. Let's just read it. Exodus 17, verse 8 through 13 says, while the people of Israel were still at Rephidim, the warriors of Amalek attacked them. Moses commanded Joshua, choose some men to go out and fight the army of Amalek for us. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill holding a staff holding the staff of God in my hand. So Joshua did what Moses had commanded and fought the army of Amalek. Meanwhile, Moses, Aaron, and Hur climbed the top of the nearby hill. As long as Moses held up the staff in his hand, the Israelites had the advantage. But whenever he dropped his hand, the Amalekites gained the advantage. Moses' arms soon became so tired he could no longer hold them up. So Aaron and Hur found a stone for him to sit on. They stood on each side of Moses, holding his hands. So his hands held steady until sunset. As a result, Joshua overwhelmed the army of Amalek in battle. Here's a couple of questions I have. Number one is, did Moses take Aaron and Hur with him, or did they just follow him? I don't know. I have a feeling that they said, Moses is going up, I'm going with Moses, because I know that where Moses goes, God goes, and where God is where I want to be. And we know that Aaron was Moses' right-hand man, so obviously he's going to go with him. But my second question is this. I don't see in the Bible where Moses said, hey, Aaron and Hur, hey guys, I'm getting really tired. Can you guys go find me a stone to sit on, and will you guys hold my hands up? What I read is that Aaron and Hur were watching the man of God as he did what God had spoken, as he did what God had promised. And when he got tired, something clicked and they realized, he's tired. He's physically getting tired. We got to do something. And instead of going, well, God, I hope you get it to the man, hope you get it to Moses. He's your man, so hope you get everything to him that he needs. They saw a need, and what they did, they looked for a stone. They brought it. Here, Moses, sit down. Hey, your arms are tired? Here, let me hold your arms up for you. Why? Because when you see a need, you feel a need, because it's not always about, do I get any credit? It's not always about, hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. They saw a need, they filled it. And we read as they continued to hold his arms up, the battle continued. Israelites continued to win. As they enabled the man of God to do what God had asked him to do, the Israelites continued to win. So much so that it says Joshua overwhelmed the Amalekites. Can I tell you something? What we also don't read is it doesn't say, my curiosity goes, how long did they have to hold his hands up? And how did they not get tired? And so my brain just plays these games of, well, maybe they did this, and maybe they put his arms on their shoulder, maybe they just put it on their back, and maybe they even knelt down. They got tired of standing. And so I go through all these things, but here's what I know is serving is tiring. Serving is tiring. We get tired of serving when we allow it to get boring. Serving is boring when I stop finding the value in what I do. When serving becomes about me and my conveniences, I've lost sight of what serving really is. See, as a result of Aaron and Hur, Joshua overwhelmed the Amalekites. What if God is waiting for us to serve our leader to overwhelm us with his victory? Well, I serve. I'm not just talking about Pastor Joe. What if God, now, hang on with me, what if God is asking and waiting for us to serve our boss? You see, because to serve means to take my pride and set it aside. To serve means to lower myself and go, I will do what needs to be done no matter what it may be. What if he's asking us to serve our boss? What if he's asking us to serve our governor or our president? Well, I'm not being political. I'm trying to make a point of, as a Christian, it's my responsibility to serve. It doesn't matter who it is. What if God is waiting for us to pray for them instead of about them? Because, church, we're good at praying about people. Can I just be honest? We're good at, God, do you know what they did? I can't believe, God, this person did this and this. God's going, yeah, I know what they did. Why don't you pray for them? Why don't you pray that I would bless them and lead them and give them wisdom and direction so they would lead us in the right way? Why don't you pray for them that I would do something amazing in their life instead of just griping about them? See, according to the Federation of International Volleyball, I looked this up, by the way. The service is the act of putting the ball into play by the back right player placed in the service zone. In other words, the service means starting the volleyball in action. So I had to ask because I wasn't sure, but I've noticed like in high school games and middle school games, like when I'm out playing with friends, we go, service! And like, I'm serving the ball, you better get ready, because if you're not, I'm going to hit you in the head. And we yell it and we serve. So I asked my friends, like, hey, what does it mean? Where did it come from? She goes, I don't know. It's just, hey, we're serving the ball. Get ready. I was like, cool. So I looked it up. But the act of service is to put the ball into play. Well, I think it's the same thing when I serve, whether it's at church, at work, at home. That when I serve, I put the ball in play, catch. But my act of beginning to serve also puts into play the blessings of God. Well, what are you trying to say? Do you notice that when Aaron and Hur got up and they began to make a way for the leader to do what God had asked him to do, by them being obedient and beginning to serve, they put the ball in motion so that the blessings of God, of the Israelites overwhelming the Amalekites, continued to flow. Had they not, my mind wonders, would the Israelites have lost that battle? Because those that were there to serve would not serve the man of God to allow him to do what needed to be done. Notice they didn't say, well, Aaron or Moses, that's what we pay you for. Moses, you're God's leader, so that's your job. And they said, no, we'll serve. We'll do it, whatever it takes. We'll serve. Because it wasn't about them. It was about honoring God and doing what God asked them to do. When we serve, we're putting the ball of blessings into play in our life, but also in the lives of those that are around us. Because when I serve, not only does God bless me, he blesses those that I serve. Luke chapter 6, verse 38 says, give, and you'll receive your gift. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over and poured into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back. Serving is a gift that I give. You understand? Serving isn't about me. Serving is a gift that I give. Serving isn't about getting a jewel on my crown. Does the Bible talk about that? Yes, but I don't serve to get another jewel. I don't serve to get recognition. I don't serve to be honored. I serve to be a blessing and to give. Serving is about filling a spot or position that's open. Serving is about really the position of your heart. Because when your heart is in the right position, you serve without any hesitation or without expecting reciprocation from others. I don't serve to get you to serve me. I serve to honor God. I serve to make him happy. If there's some return, great. That's not what I'm in it for. I serve because I want to be Jesus with skin on. What did Jesus do? He served. Matthew 20:28, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others and give his life as a ransom for many. I don't have to serve because it's my responsibility. I get to serve because it's my gift back to the Lord for what he's done for me. It's not about what anybody else has done, but what has the Lord done for me. And if I'm really thankful for what he's done, then I'm going to serve with my whole heart because I want to give back to him a small portion of what he's given to me. I'll never be able to repay what he's done. But when I choose to serve, whether it's at church, at home, at work, or wherever it's at, when I choose to lower myself and be the least and honor his word and do what he asked me to do, then I give a little bit back to him of what he's given to me. I don't serve to get a blessing. I serve to be a blessing. See, but here's the other thing, is my serving cannot and should not take the place of my personal time with Jesus. Did you read about, no, but I served today? Good. You missed the point. Did you pray today? Well, I prayed while I was praying with somebody. Good, you missed the point. Because what I know is that I can't give out until I've been filled up. So if I'm not spending time with Jesus, reading the Bible, listening, and letting him speak to me through the word, and I'm not spending time one-on-one having a conversation with him, there's nothing I can give out because I haven't received from the master. Once I receive from him, guess what? Then I can give out what he's given me. Well, I serve all the time. That's good. I'm glad. Thank you for that. But if you're not spending time with Jesus, is your service really service, or is it in vain so that people see you serving? Because if it's just for you, you're missing the blessing. Luke 10:38-42 says, as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him to her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Anybody ever been guilty of that? Lord, I'm serving. Where's everybody else at? Just me? Okay. Doesn't it seem unfair? Tell her to come help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. See, when you're getting tired, stop praying about what you're doing and start praying for it. Praying about what you're doing is grumbling and complaining. Praying for it speaks life. When you speak life into others and other ministries, you speak life into yourself as well. Well, I would keep serving in kids' church, but those kids, have you seen them? Yeah, they're called kids. Kids, they're children. We were kids once too. We were rambunctious and wild and crazy. Well, I just can't handle them. It's not about what I can handle. It's about honoring God and serving and loving on people. Serving isn't something we do just in the church. We do it everywhere. Have you noticed serving seems to happen the most when it's most inconvenient? It is. I found a quote recently by Ann Landers, and it says this: opportunities are usually disguised as hard work. That's why most people never recognize them. Some of the biggest opportunities that God allows us to be blessed are covered in hard work, and we don't recognize it because I don't want to work. I. Well, the first thing you need to do is get your I out of the way and spend time with Jesus and remember that we're here to serve and honor him. Luke 10:30, Jesus continued on with the disciples. He tells a story. A Jewish man was traveling from Jerusalem down to Jericho, and he was attacked by bandits. They stripped him of his clothes. And we know the story. They stripped him of his clothes. They beat him up. They took all his money. They stole from him. They left him there in the road to die. And then it says there is a priest that walked by. And he stopped and went to the other side of the road and kept on walking. I don't have time to deal with this. The temple assistant walked up, and he walked up. It says he walked up, looked at him, and then went on by. Like, my brain just doesn't wrap around that, because if I walk up and I see somebody there dying, I'm not going to go, oh, sorry about you. Like, it just doesn't register to me. But then Jesus says the despised Samaritan, the lowest of the low, walked by, found the man, and began to take care of him, began to soothe his wounds, began to take care, place bandages. And then it said he took him, put him on his donkey, took him to the inn, and said, hey, take care of this man. Gave him two silver coins, the equivalent of a full day's wage. Here, whatever you got to do, do it. And when I come back by, if it costs more, I'll pay you then too. You see, some of us aren't willing to pay the up front. We'll console. Hey man, I'm so sorry about your luck. I'm praying for you. I'm praying. But that's all I'm going to do is just pray for you. Some of us, God is asking us, will you give a little more than just your prayer? Now listen, prayer works miracles. Prayer does amazing things. But sometimes I think God expects us to back up our prayer with our actions. A few weeks ago, we were having a rough day. It's kind of a rough nothing between us. Just our world was just kind of, my wife was beating me up. No, we were just having a rough time. We were just kind of facing some stuff that was just normal life stuff. And I was at this moment where I was like, I'm ready to have a pity party. Woe is me. I can't believe all this stuff. And before I could really get to that bottom point, God allowed my path to cross with somebody that really had deeper issues. And I walked away that day, and I think I sent Pastor Kelly a text like, wow, I think I have it bad. I think we're going through whatever. And then God allows me to cross paths with somebody that really needs him to move in a mighty way. All of a sudden, my problems don't seem so big anymore because he's been so good. We're so blessed. And he's been so faithful. When serving is inconvenient and a chore, and I leave it that way, I've missed the point of serving. See, Jesus served most by giving his life as a ransom for ours. We read it earlier, but I want to read it again. Matthew 20:28. For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve others, to give his life as a ransom. He served all of us. The deepest part by laying his life down. Taking up our punishment, our sins, the Bible says, placed on his shoulders as he's laying, hanging there on the cross. Why? Because he loves us. Because he loves us. Because he loves me. Because he loves you. Because he loves those that are at home sleeping in the day that want nothing to do with him. He loves them. Those that have been hurt in the church and just said, I don't want to go back to church because of whatever reason, he loves them. Those that are crying out to him, asking, God, where are you at? I need help. I need somebody. He loves them. See, my serving and everything I do should point people to Jesus, not look at how good I am. Why do you go to work? To get paid? No, we go to work because it's an opportunity and an avenue that I can show people where Jesus is at. And I can point them to Jesus. Why do you go to Walmart? A lot of reasons, but the most important, it's an avenue to show people where Jesus is at. Why do you go to Sonic? To get a half-price drink? No, because when you're there, you have an opportunity to show people Jesus. Why do I go to church? It's an avenue to tell people about Jesus. You know why I serve in church? It's because I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to know about Jesus. And if I don't serve, there may be somebody that misses an opportunity to hear about Jesus because nobody else will either. Why do I serve? No matter where I'm at, it's an avenue to point people to Jesus. Let's pray today. Lord, thank you for today. God, I thank you for your goodness. God, I thank you for the phrase that we've coined around here that we've just taken it to heart, that we get to serve. We don't have to, but we get to, because when we serve, we're a blessing to you. More than anything else we could do, when we serve, we get to honor you. God, I thank you for those opportunities. God, I pray that if for nobody else, you'll forgive me. For the moments that serving is about me, and serving is about why just me? Why just this? And I miss the picture of, God, I'm doing what I do to honor you so that I can point people to you. Because everything in my life has got to point to you. And if not, it's worthless. Because my life has got to tell people about you. So God, I pray that you would remind us today that you love us, you cherish us, you care about us. But when we serve, no matter where it's at, when we serve, we're the hands and feet of Jesus. And sometimes, Lord, sometimes when we serve, when we're trying to be a bridge, we get walked on. But you're there with us. So God, I thank you that you allow me, you allow us to get to serve in such incredible ways. Every one of us different, but we get to serve to honor you. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for watching and worshiping with us today. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a video or a live stream. And please share this video with your friends and family. If this message has encouraged you today, please let us know in the comments, as we would love to connect with you. And thank you so much for your generosity. Because of you and your faithful giving, together we share the gospel around the world. So please visit our website, crumcc.church, and use the giving link. God bless you. We can't wait to worship with you again next week.